Hi, I'm Ruth Butterfield, Mayor of the City of Armadale, and I have to say, I'll just add in that I'm the first female Mayor of the City of Armadale. And can you imagine how far we have to come to get further diversity into our leadership? We have got a bit of diversity in, so we've got a person with disability, we've got some people from our Indian community, but in return for getting some people from our Indian community onto local government, we've lost female representation. So communication, diversity, all very important. And I love the idea of having these difficult conversations. And I find that a lot of conversations in local government are difficult. Everyone has an issue that they are passionate about, and then finding that sort of the right path through so that we come to a resolution of that issue that brings people along for the correct outcome. It might not always please everybody, but we have to work on the pleasing most people. It has to be good enough, and we have to settle for, sometimes perfection is unachievable, and settling for good enough has to do. So if we can make most people happy and we can keep our budgets right, it all comes down to money, unfortunately. So communication with our community is very important. These challenges surrounding social media, and that being the way that we are having to move into, the space that we're having to move into is social media, and connecting with older people in social media, I think, is challenging. We've got our communications specialist over here standing by me, and she can nod or shake her head. But I think that the reason why a lot of people are on social media is to connect with each other, not to connect with government at this stage. So it's a transition that we're having to work through. How do we attract clicks and likes? It's really hard. We're not that fantastic. I mean, we are fantastic, but we're not that exciting. How can we get that excitement into our communications as a local government? I mean, yeah, we build your parks and we put, fix potholes in roads. We hold community events, but making it exciting for people enough to like and share our posts, and having an algorithm determine whether our posts are and our communication is successful or not is incredibly frustrating. So Meta and Mark Zuckerberg and other social platforms, their algorithms determine how well we communicate with our community. It's horrible. Newspapers, like we say, are reducing. When I first became a councillor at the City of Armadale, we had 2 local newspapers, independently owned and run, and we were able to put ads in there, full page sort of communication to our residents, and we did so on a regular basis. And so we were able to communicate on many different planes, if you like. Now with the sort of condensation of our media outlets, it's very expensive. We are, I guess, beholden to other people as far as what we can afford. So social media becomes attractive. We can't afford, I guess, to go onto radio or TV very often to put ads out there. So it's quite constraining as a local government organisation. And we're always looking at costs, of course. As far as, I guess, U3A goes, I think it's a fantastic idea that you attempt to try and get some diversity. I love that idea. However, looking around the room, I think that the way that you've all come together, the way that you continue to engage with education, knowledge, and having those really interesting and difficult conversations at some times, I think that your representation can only grow from here. And as we become a more diverse community, then bringing people in that are representative of that community will happen, I guess, organically, but you can do things to hurry that process along. And as we have done at the City of Armadale, we are trying to include diversity in our elected members and in our employees and in events that we put on, and just trying to sort of be very reflective of the community in which we operate. Where am I up to? At some point I do have to wrap up the conference. Look, just from the little bit that I've been to see this afternoon, makes me feel very sorry that I didn't get to more sessions. Very interesting topics, and I think that you've probably had a wonderful experience and you've learnt a lot, and you've been able to engage and not just learn but participate in some of that discussion, which is very important, because simply listening to information being pushed at you is not what learning is all about, and it's not what keeping your brain plastic is all about. And that's why universities are so cool. They're less about somebody standing at the front of the room and talking at people, but actually having them talk back at you. And that's what I find local government is all about. So as a high school teacher, I used to stand at the front of the classroom and I would try and engage and tell and teach young people, teenagers. And while they weren't talking amongst themselves, they were probably tuned out a lot of the time and perhaps went off and did a bit of homework and whatnot. But they were much more interested in talking to each other, and that's how they learn. And once you can start getting an engagement with students, then you know that they're actually going to remember the conversations that they had and the learning and the information that they took away with them. So I think as a local government leader, my enjoyment of local government comes from getting the feedback and then being able to cycle that through into the items that I take to council and the way that I think about the community and how we should be behaving, what facilities need to be given out. We've got hands up in the back, that's great. And throughout the room, I recognise that all of you are knowledge holders, and you're a bit older than me. So you've got so much more knowledge. And I did go and visit a gentleman yesterday by the name of Tom Price. Lives up in Carragullen, has been collecting information, photographs about the Rollystone orchard industry and timber industry for decades and decades. He is a knowledge holder. Now, how we get that knowledge and record it is a difficult thing. So I've sort of been putting my mind to how do we get knowledge out of knowledge holders before they take it with them. And our Birtwhistle Library, I think I'll put him on to them. They can take photographs and digitally record everything that he's got on offer, but it'll take months, if not years, to get all of that knowledge put into one place. But if we don't do it now, it'll be lost. So I look out across the audience today, and I know that the people that have attended over the conference are knowledge holders, and I really appreciate that you come along and you share your knowledge with speakers, because having speakers and professionals in their field and people who have actually learnt and have something to offer you back, and then you contributing to the conversation and then taking it away out into your communities is so important. So thank you as knowledge holders, everybody, for coming along. Look, the City of Armadale, I'm proud to have that history of the city actually starting up or helping assist with this group. And it's wonderful to have you all today. I do have a few thank yous before we wrap up. So, done that bit. Oh, I need my glasses. It sneaks up on you. Look, the one thing is to thank all the speakers that have been involved in the conference, and I think that I've only seen the last couple, but they obviously have been of such a high calibre and have been very interesting. I'm sure that they have kept you all entertained and interested along the way. I've got also to thank the Armadale High School for their catering students coming along and the teachers that have fed you. I don't know if there's any reps from the school, but we'll pass on their thanks anyway. Also, I'd like to thank sponsors. Lottery West has been a great sponsor, and also I think the City of Armadale have sponsored something or other, I don't know. I hope we did good. Looking at Sheila here. I know that Sheila's got some knowledge, I'll call it that, and experiences to take away that I will be taking back, so to let my organisation know how we can improve this facility and the way that we deal with conferences, I guess. So we've got some work to do in that space, but I hope that the facility has met expectations in other ways. So we are pretty proud of this one, this facility. So I hope it's met some of your expectations, if not all. Lastly, I'd like to thank U3A for all that you do throughout our community and for maintaining relationships and keeping knowledge circulating around the community. People forget that when you retire, you don't just stop. And bright minds deserve to continue on getting information, being involved. So I would encourage you all to, if you can possibly, get involved with whatever local government that you're at and keep contributing to public consultation wherever you can. Because your knowledge and experience of your community is so important that we really need to keep connecting with you. And if social media is not your thing, then please write to us. Whatever form your communication takes, please pick up the phone, write to your local government, get onto the website, whatever. Just keep involved because your knowledge is so important to continue feeding back into the city or whichever local government you come from. Yes, in my last life as a school teacher, I did have to stand up and do this sort of thing. But my audience was very noisy, unruly, and they swore a lot. But after school, they would say, "Hi, miss." And when you're down the shops, they'd be all, "Hi, miss, how you going?" All that sort of thing. And it's an absolute pleasure to have been a teacher and then to see and come across these kids that are now getting their driver's license and are out there in the world. And you might have, I might have thought they were unruly little rat bags when I was trying to herd them and make them learn things in a classroom. But then I realised that a classroom is not for everybody. Learning is different for everybody, and teenagers are all different, and they have different pathways that they are going to go on in their lives. And your mainstream high school expects kids and teenagers to sit for long periods of time being talked at and then getting on a computer, for example, writing assignments, that sort of thing. It's not for everybody. So I did spend a lot of my time actually talking to kids and saying, well, unfortunately, this is one of the things that we have to get through. It's an endurance race. You have to just get through this part of your life, then it will be over, and your new life and your freedom and your learning will begin outside of this classroom. And I think that comforted some of them, and they just kind of calmed down a little bit. But now out seeing them, they've got jobs as diesel mechanics, and they're actually going fantastically well. Most of the kids there that were disengaged in a classroom situation have now got fantastic lives, and they've found a route through life that makes them happy. So I think nurturing, love and communication on very many different levels is very important throughout the life of humans. We need to connect, and we need to be understood by each other. So through different generations, we need to be able to connect over the ages, if you like. So hang in there, everybody. Don't look at teenagers as being too unruly and awful. They quite often are, but sometimes they're beautiful. And I think that if you don't put them on the spot, then they are wonderful. So, very different audience. That's what my point was. But thank you for listening. Thank you for all that you do out there, keeping your brains active, learning and keeping connected. And please give us your feedback. Stay involved with your local government because you have all the knowledge. I mean, not all of it, but, you know, a good deal of it. Throughout your experiences in your lives. So thanks very much for coming to the City of Armadale. Thank you to the Armadale branch of the U3A for their organising of this conference. I thank them very much. It's been a long time coming. I think 2 years ago I had representatives from the group come and see me. So organising a conference of this size and getting speakers, it's a really big job, so I would like to have you all give a round of applause to the organisers of this conference.